right, y'all. So good morning. It's Wednesday morning. Finally getting back to it. Can't see shit. So we finally getting back to it. Gotta go. There's Drew on his way. And Drew's never late, man. That's one thing about Drew. He ain't never been late the whole time he's worked for me. So just want to throw that out there. You know, y'all know I've been crying about this and crying about that and about, you know, help and labor and, you know, and all this, but make no mistake, man, the Drewsky, he's dependable as they come, man. I don't think I've ever had anybody as dependable as Drew as far as showing up and everything. And hey, that is a very, very, very good thing. So yeah, y'all see I'm solo, and that's all right. You know, it'd be like that sometimes, man. I'm not gonna bring nobody else out here until I actually need somebody else out here. I've come to realize that I really can't depend on help other than Drew showing up. So I'm gonna try to, you know, minimize my labor. You know, it's what I have to do, man. I'm doing what I have to do. You know, I wish I could just, you know, go wide open, be full force, wide open, and take on all this work and all that, but I can't, man, because of the labor. So I'm just gonna do, you know, what I need to do for the business to make money, and do the best I can. So, you know, there's that. But I'm not, I don't, you know, I mean, working by myself is not a big deal, man. What is a big deal is not knowing I'm going to be working by myself until the very, very last minute. See, I went to bed last night knowing I'm going to be working by myself. So, you know, I got the schedule accordingly, and I got the workflow accordingly, you know, for a couple of guys solo in the trucks today. Could we make more money if I had the third guy? Well, yeah, we could, but I have to pay the third guy too. So when you factor in, you know, what I got to pay out for the third guy versus how much more money we need to make to justify that payout. Well, if I can do if I can, you know, revamp some of the scheduling stuff, then, you know, I might be able to spread it out a little bit, and I may find over time that you know, having unreliable help and stuff, it makes me better. It makes me better at you know, moving things around and grasping what I need to do just in case somebody don't show up, because apparently that's always going to be the case out here. It's always going to be the case. I mean, you're not going to find many guys like Drew that actually come to work every day, no matter what. You know, 5 days a week. And I know I was dogging Drew out about that, about how he left that cut, but you know, he shouldn't have left it like that. You know. So, but everything that Drew can control, he's good at. So it's just a matter of him, you know, keep coming out here and keep learning, man, and keep learning what's acceptable and what's not and all that. So, you know, I think Drew will eventually get it, and once he does, you know, get it better than he's already got it. Once he does get it, then he's going to be a great asset because he comes to work every day. I mean, you know, everything else is teachable out here. You know, if a guy comes out here and he don't know how to run a mower, or he don't know how to weed eat or edge or do hedge trimming and blah, 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 all that can be taught. You can't teach somebody how to be on time. You can't teach somebody how to not oversleep. I can't even believe I'm saying that, you know? Crazy, man. But you can teach somebody how to weed eat, edge, blow, how to go about the route, how to move with a purpose. All that stuff's teachable. You know, but the intangibles, you know, not showing up late, or not showing up at all, you know, all that is that's built within yourself, you know. Those are things that are beyond my teaching ability. So just saying, man. But we're gonna get out here. I do got the Skagit and the X-Mark with me. I always have two mowers with me, ever since, you know, well, ever since I've had two mowers to haul with me. Every now and then I'll take a chance and go and do a property without the second mower, but 9 times out of 10 I got two mowers on the truck with me. So yeah. But you know, I mean, there's a lot of things that I can do to minimize the need for a third guy. I can get started a little bit earlier. I can work a little bit later. It doesn't really matter to me as long as we get the list done. Y'all know I don't really put big emphasis on the amount of yards that we do. It's always about the amount of money that we generate. So, you know, when guys come on and they say, man, you only did 8 yards. Yeah, but they might have been $820 yards, you know, you never know. So, you know, that's something to think about. I don't do any $35 cuts. None. All mine, like most of you guys know, all mine are, everything is 50 or more. I got 2 40s that I still do. And that's just because of little old ladies. And they, you know, and they're on another route and they don't cry about nothing and blah, blah, blah. So, but, you know, this labor issue, it's something that I'm going to have to deal with. I'm going to have to persevere through it, and I'm going to have to figure out a better way to do stuff, man. Right? I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to get my brain thinking a little bit different too, and thinking in terms of, okay, how can I do the same amount of yards and not need the third guy? Or if I do need a third guy, it's very, very minimal. I'm going to have to change some things, and I'm up for that, you know. So I have to be, man. I mean, yeah, I have to be up for that. Nobody likes change. Everybody is a little bit like, you know, I'm a little bit afraid of change, always, because there's a certain element of unknown, and I don't like the unknown. So I like going into a situation with a plan, and when I plan out blah 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 with the third party, the third guy out here with me, and then they don't come to work, well, then that plan was just a waste of my time planning. And so I could spend all my waking hours planning and strategizing and coming up with this deal, buying this piece of equipment, buying that piece of equipment, and dropping this customer and making sure I take on this customer. I can do all of that, you know, and and then one guy not show up, and all that's just a big waste of time and a big waste of money too. Because if I can't depend on a third guy out here, then I don't need to worry about buying this mower for that job, or because I might not even be doing that job. See, it can really screw you up, man, on your expenses and all. So, and there's only so much that somebody like me is going to do as far as you know, dealing with that kind of not showing up and stuff. I mean, you know, only so much only so much I can deal with before I just say I'm good, you know, because no matter what help gets in the truck with me or not, the yard's still got to be cut, right? So, you know, the yard's still got to be cut, the yard's still got to be done. I still have my obligations to my customers, no matter what's going on in the truck or the employees or equipment or weather or anything. I still have obligations, you know, and I'm gonna meet my obligations, and I'm not gonna let some knucklehead stop me from meeting the obligations that I have set forth in my business, you know. Y'all, so I just pulled up the first one. Y'all seen this one before, man. Ain't a big deal. This is a tiny one. The only big issue today is just the weather. I mean, the wetness of the yards. So y'all see this one. I'm gonna grab the weed and go on and weed eat up around those rocks up there, and go on and get most of the weed eating done. And yeah. So I'm gonna cut this Bermuda here. And I'm going to cut it kind of high because she's cutting it in a week. This is a every 2 week deal, and she cuts it one time when I'm not here. So when I'm cutting things high, I like to use the Skag. Now I don't know how good it's going to do on this wet grass, but the Skag tends to disperse the grass better. I'm going to set you guys up on one of these crepe myrtle stumps, and that way, and do a little time lapse here. So yeah, we're going to see how the Skag does. You know, the X-Mark will cut it, no problem, but the X-Mark will throw grass everywhere. So on these finer cuts, the Skag seems to do better. I know a lot of guys don't believe that, but it's not better on the cut quality or nothing, but it's all about dispersing the grass. The X-Mark, if you ride by a vehicle or anything, or a flower bed or anything with the X-Mark deck aiming toward that flower bed, it throws an unbelievable amount of grass in there. You could do the same thing on the same height with the Skag, and it'll throw grass in there, but it won't be nothing like the X-Mark does. All right, y'all. It looks pretty good. The Skag did pretty good. Yeah, pretty nice. She's gonna hire me to trim these trees right here because it's trying to die over there. But yeah, I'm gonna finish blowing off, y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next one. It's one down. All right, y'all, that's one down. Easy cheesy. 25 minutes, $60, you know. Okay, I didn't get no footage over here of me cutting, y'all, but I ran the lines this way this time. See if we can see. And I used the X-Mark. The X-Mark just throws the grass so hard, man. And I'm getting better on my striping, you know, as far as staying straight, man. I can't stay straight for nothing when I got a long open area. But y'all can kind of see. So Drew's still at that one. Taking a little bit longer than normal, but it's taking us a little bit longer to do most of them than normal because everything is real wet. So when it's real wet, you got to kind of calculate a little bit better on you know, your time. Because in the course of a day, with it being real wet, you might not be able to do, say you got 10 on the list, and if it's really wet and you take your time, you don't have no complaints, and you don't tear up nothing, and you don't slide into nothing, it takes you longer to do the yards. So you might be able to, so at the end of the day, you might have to drop off that 10th one, because you took 10 or 15 more minutes on each property. So we need to be spraying over there, but I didn't want to spray today because of all the rain that we've had, and the rain, even though it's not raining today, on some of these yards you might not want to spray because, well, the runoff and all is still seeping. Water is still running. It's just on the ground and ain't dried up yet. So you can spray and it can seep over into the yard and stuff. So I'm not wanting to spray, or I'm not wanting my guys to spray today. I'll be the only one to spray today I don't plan on spraying either. So now I'm gonna do this 50 right here. It's real easy. I would send Drew over here to do this one, but I don't want to send Drew over here today because it's so wet and there's a big hill on it, and there's no room for error over here. So it's real wet. Everything's real wet. So I want to make sure that I got Drew on the right properties for him to succeed, right? And not just Drew. I'm saying Drew's name because he works for me. But anybody that would be working for me right now. We just had about 4 days of straight rain, y'all. So anybody working for me right now, whether it's Drew or anybody, I would be picking and choosing what properties to send them to. I couldn't just send them to anyone. I wouldn't be comfortable with that because some of these yards hold water more than others, and I know all that. See, the guys that work for you 9 times out of 10, they don't know that. They're not thinking about that. They're not, they're just thinking about, cutting it like they would normally cut it on a regular hot 90-degree day. They're not thinking about the water and all that until they actually roll off into some water, and get stuck or tear the yard up. And see, I'm gonna try to. Y'all all know I live in a preventable world. I try to prevent that. I don't want Drew to tear up a yard. Number one, because, well, I don't want the yard tore up. Number two, I don't want it to upset the customer, and also I don't want to mess Drew's confidence up and the ability and all. Because you start doing some of these wet yards that are real tricky. You get stuck on 2 or 3 of them. Well, then you start, it gets in your head and it can mess you up, man. So I just want to put Drew in the best scenario for him to succeed. Just like a coach, a football coach, right? So, yeah, man. Yeah. All good, y'all. Got this. We got this. Me and Drew got it today, man. We're all right. All right, there's number 3 done. Third one of the day, and it's 10:35. So, yeah. All right, guys. So, I'm always talking about, things that set you out above the rest, little things you can do on the property. It doesn't take much time, just to make the property nice. To now, right here where I'm at right now, y'all know I trimmed all these trees, and the lady that lives here, she's 90-something years old, and this is where the man told me to come back and look at the fence, remember? And I did, but there wasn't nothing wrong. So I'm all about going up and beyond, right? I'm all about it, man. So I'm not going to get this limb up, but I'm going to cut it into pieces she can deal with. She hasn't asked me to do it. She hasn't, you know, told me that, you know, that she'd pay me to get that or anything. I'm just going to cut it into pieces that where we can, where she can handle it, man. But obviously they're too big for somebody to, you know, 90 years old to be able to handle. Now I don't have time to get them all up and everything, but I got time to cut them real quick. And you know, she likes to come outside, so I'm gonna cut these. I'm not charging her, and if she gives me extra money, cool. If she don't, cool. It doesn't matter. Either way, I'm gonna get these limbs down to where well, y'all see. See, that took me, you know what, 5 minutes, 4 minutes. I mean, she'll be very happy about that. There I go, man. All right, I gotta get back to cutting, y'all. All right, y'all. So that's we got done with the two big ones. 12:45. And y'all saw. I went up and beyond over there, and she gave me extra $30, but I wasn't going to charge. She didn't give me extra nothing. I was not going to charge her. I was just trying to help her out, man. And I saw that I had an opportunity there to help her out. And you know, if she gave me extra money, cool. If not, cool. It didn't matter. I was going to get that branch damaged. I mean, what is a 90-year-old woman going to cut that with? You know, I mean, you know, and how much more effort is it for me? It's nothing, man, you know. So that kind of thing just sets you apart from the rest, put it that way. Because if say we're over there and we miss something, you know, or, you know, something happens or, you know, whatever. See, the customers, for the most part, remember things like that I just did voluntarily without even charging her. Now, you know, of course, if she writes me a check and she adds to it, you know, I'm going to accept it. But, you know, that was not my intention going in. So, you know, that just makes it where it's hard to fire you, man. At the end of the day, it's hard to fire Ray Ray, you know. So I got one more I'm going to do, and that's it, man. So I went by and picked up a check from my commercial account. One of my commercial accounts. They got a lot of properties that I do. It's the same one where Drew, where that job last week, you know. So I was talking to the manager there, the lady that pays me and everything, and she had, you know, they're always going through guys working at, you know, at this particular, they're a service company too. And so they always are going through guys and stuff. And so they hired a guy, and he's got a lawn care business on the side. This was last year. I was just talking to her, and she was telling me about it. And she, so the guy came in, they hired him as one of their, you know, to work for them as far as, you know, their service. But he's got a lawn care service, you know, a lawn care business on the side. And you know, he came in there saying, you know, he'd do all their properties, you know. So the lady that hired me, you know, he was telling one of the owners that, you know. And so the lady that, and you know, I guess he was in a meeting with the owner and the manager, the lady I deal with, and you know, during the hiring process or whatever. So they hired him, and then he came back at them saying, hey, you know, I can do this and I can do that. I'll do all your lawns. I can maintain all your lawns. And you know, one of the owners, he said, well, you'll have to talk to Patricia, you know, Pat about that. You have to talk to Pat about that. And so the owner pulled the manager to the side after that and said, you what do you think? Can we save some money, or you want to let him do that? And the lady I deal with told him no, she didn't want to do that, that she understood me, understood my business, and the pricing, and the great relationship that we have built, and I've been dedicated and loyal to them, and will jump at a moment's notice to do properties that they acquire and stuff like that. And so the owner, though he could have just overrode her, he didn't. He listened to his people. And that was over a year ago. She was just telling me about it the day when I picked up that check. We were just talking, and that made me feel good, though, that she feels that way. And because I feel the same way. You often wonder how other people feel about how third parties feel about your work or whatever, right? And that made me feel good to know that she went to bat for me. I know she's went to bat for me because I know the owners, and they're good guys. Don't get me wrong, but they kudos to them for listening to their people, man. And that's why I jumped through hoops for the manager there, because I know she's going to make sure that I keep work, and that I get all their lawn care, cleanup work, and I'm grateful for that. And I show that, we had that complaint. She complained last time, last week, with that job over there. But I went over there and fixed it, and she's happy with that. I think that she's looking out for me, and that in turn, I don't want to make her look bad, and I don't want to make her. I always want to make sure that I do a good job on everything, no matter who the customer is. And once I agree to the money, then it's up to me to make money at that number without compromising the work. This lady's smart. She's thinking like I would be thinking if I were in her spot, because let's play that out. Okay, say they did hire him to do all their lawns, along with, working for them in their business too, as an employee. And then on the side, he was able to do all their lawns that I do. Well, then what happens if they fired him? What happens if he quits? See, then they're scrambling to find somebody else, and if you're a commercial company, you don't want to be scrambling to do nothing. You want everything to damn be as even keel as possible. You don't want to rock the boat. All right, y'all got done with that one, and that's a wrap. About $650. And I might go do another one after I eat lunch. Do another 70 in my neighborhood. I could actually go do 2 more if I wanted to. But first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go home and jump in the pool. It's Sammy Time Wednesday. Have a good evening.